China's ride-sharing giant, Didi, has come under fire again after a passenger was raped and killed by her driver in China's eastern city of Wenzhou. Now, Didi says it has been stepping up safety measures after the murder of a female flight attendant back in May, which sparked public outrage.
It truly was the love of my life.
Her last moments caught on surveillance footage, getting into what appears to be her Uber, but it's a stranger. Police say this man, Nathaniel Rowland, kidnapped and murdered the 21-year-old before discarding her body in a remote wooded area.
This morning, an Illinois teen facing murder charges for what officials are calling a brutal and unprovoked attack on an Uber driver. 16-year-old Eliza Wozni appearing in court after prosecutors say she attacked her Uber driver with a knife and machete early Tuesday for no apparent reason at all.
Oh, come on. Those were just a handful of horror stories compared to the millions of people who benefited from the convenience of private hire cars. But really, are the risks worth the returns? Let's find out. The ultimate question today is whether private hire cars are largely beneficial for both the drivers and passengers. Earlier, I said that millions of people benefited from the convenience of private hire cars. But what are you really benefiting from when you hire a Grab car, an Uber car, or even a TT car in China? Truth is, the main benefit would be you having the convenience of a motor vehicle waiting at your doorstep like a princess being serviced by her chariot, only that this chariot is actually a Toyota Corolla smelling like a chimney that hasn't been cleaned since 10 Christmases ago. Some people would argue to say that the cost of hiring a private hire car would be around $3 to $4 cheaper than booking a government-regulated taxi. This is true if you are traveling alone. If you have a family and if your child requires a car seat, the total cost may be on par or even more expensive than a regular cab. The Singapore Management University conducted a survey and found out that customers prefer taking the taxi rather than a private hire car. Let's see why.
Commuters here in Singapore say they are generally more satisfied taking taxis than private hire cars. That's according to an annual transport survey conducted by the Singapore Management University.
Taxis performed better than private hire cars in 8 of the 9 satisfaction attributes. In particular, the transport survey indicated that taxi drivers' road knowledge and helpfulness were markedly better than those driving private hire cars.
Singaporeans prefer taking the taxi even though they may be a tad more expensive compared to a private hire car. In the survey, people say that they prefer taxis because the drivers were more knowledgeable and helpful. Wow! For knowledge and helpfulness, Singaporeans are willing to pay that $3 to $4 extra dollars. Isn't that ridiculous? Actually, not at all. If $4 can give me safety, peace of mind, punctuality, hygiene, and assistance, I'll gladly spend that extra $4. So far, I've been very kind to the private hire sector by comparing it to a safe and sound city like Singapore. What if we compare it to cities that carry a high crime death rate? Would you still dare to let your daughter take a private hire car then? If your husband is trying to make ends meet and needs to drive in the middle of the night, would you not worry till your heart jumps out of your mouth?
Police have zeroed in on the prime suspect in the shooting death of a TNVS driver on October 26th. Investigators identified 25-year-old Narc De Lemios as the last person to book a ride with the slain driver, Gerardo Makidato, using a fake name in a borrowed cell phone. Police believe De Lemios set out to rob Makidato, but then shot him in the head with a 9mm pistol when the latter resisted. The suspect eventually cancelled his booking, but only after an hour, and after Makidato's body was found lying in a pool of his own blood on a street pavement.
Safety is a problem here. It is a big problem because the private hire industry is mostly unregulated. In Singapore, all private hire drivers must obtain a private hire car driver's vocational license, in short, PDVL. However, there are still private hire apps that allow people to hop into cars with drivers that do not own a PDVL at a cheaper price. And that's for Singapore alone. How about the rest of the world? Countries that do not regulate private hire drivers are allowing a free hand for bad things to happen. It is just a matter of time. Opening up this industry is as good as opening up strangers to more strangers. A driver or a passenger just got to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and they may never get to see their family again. All you need is just one incident and all is lost. Let me emphasize, the risk of getting into trouble is not just for the passenger. The driver is at risk as well. Okay, so you've got not much of a choice. COVID-19 is here and you still got to make ends meet for yourself and your family. But can driving private hire truly make ends meet?
I started driving in September 2016. A lot of Grab drivers recommended me to drive, and they say a lot of good things, praises for Grab. It was easy to earn, the incentive was good. Back then, it's like maybe like 2005, 2008. Situation right now is quite bad actually. Now it's around 10 to 12 hours, around maybe 6 days a week. Sometimes I drive 7 days. I earn approximately around 1,500 to 1,800 per month. Incentive is better, and basically almost no drivers I know chase the incentives.
This Grab driver was earning a maximum of 2,800 Singapore dollars during those good days when Grab was giving out incentives like candies during Halloween. A couple of years later, he takes back only around 1,500 Singapore dollars to 1,800 Singapore dollars by working like a slave 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and sometimes even 7 days without rest. Come on, you don't have to be this guy to know that this is not a good business to be in. Not convinced from just one interview? Check out what this other private hire driver have to say about his earnings.
I make $3,360 per month, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. Schedule number 1, if I work 7 days a week. And if I choose to work 12 hours a day, the first 5 hours would be to break even. So I'm only left with 7 hours to earn my contribution margin, which would be like 7 hours times $12, which is equal to $84 every day. And the $84 times 7 days times 4 weeks, and the $84 times 7 days times 4 weeks will be equal to $2,352 per month. Now if I choose to work 15 hours a day, then I'm left with 10 hours to earn my
Alright, I'm gonna cut him off here. I'm sorry, but there's nothing more for anyone to listen, because working 15 hours a day is not only dangerous, but it is ridiculous. Still not convinced? Here's more.
身为 Grab 私招车司机，工资比孟加拉劳工还低。8点出车，喝咖啡，8点30分第一趟车。9点4、9点25、10点28、10点50、11点10分、11点37、12点03、12点35。8趟车71块。Grab 啊，你可知道我们的私招车啊，车租1天75块，还没包括你的抽佣，油钱还没计算，我比孟加拉还可怜。
Yes, uncle, the returns were indeed pathetic. But just like anyone else, you should have done your research and calculated your cost before jumping into the private hire volcano. By doing so, you've committed yourself to a car rental contract. Opportunity cost had also came into effect. Health is another matter. And more importantly, after going through so much hell, your income had still fallen short of what you need to feed your family. 3 months ago, I decided to try out private hire driving for myself to see what is this hype all about. I studied for my PDVL and drove exclusively for this ride-sharing company called Ryde. My stint lasted for 2 months and I was a 5-star driver with good reviews. I treated every single passenger as VIPs, but at max, I was tipped no more than 3 times, and the most I got was a $3 tip because my passenger wanted to pay by cash and I do not have change on me. I wanted to earn a reasonable income by working around 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Unfortunately, I never profited more than 75 Singapore dollars a day. That's extremely discouraging for a 10-hour non-stop driving action. I wanted to meet people so that I can expand my network. Unfortunately, out of the 10 passengers, 8 to 9 of them prefer to keep quiet and not have a conversation with you. I would always end up with backaches, and there was even once my right leg was in tremendous pain due to the long hours of maneuvering between the accelerator pedal and the brake pedal. The COVID-19 pandemic was still lurking around even though Singapore had it controlled properly. I asked myself, is it worth all these risks and effort? Because I got a 4-year-old son at home and a 4-month-old daughter. I go out there, pick up at least 20 passengers a day, come back home and risk spreading COVID to my family. The thought of this made me stop. Just yesterday, a sad news was reported. A private hire driver was infected with COVID-19, even though the Singapore government has taken tight measures to control the spread within the country. How about the rest of the world?
I remember being really sick to the point I really thought I was gonna die. And they said, if we take you to the hospital, you're gonna die, you're gonna kill other people. So it's better and safer for you and others to stay home. My name is Salah Sharif Ali and I'm Uber.
家人说的就是你有命赚这个钱，可能就明明这个命花了，家里的开支啊，费用开支很大，所以也是没有办法出去开了2天。因为我们在跟客人相处，毕竟在一个封闭的小小的一个空间内，而且有时候我们还要帮客人，也是要拿东西啊，在这个过程中可能会造成一些感染。 心里也处于一种焦急的状态嘛，车贷啊、房租啊，就是什么吃饭啊，各种问题了，小孩啊，因为政府给的钱都没到嘛，然后申请的失业金也没有。
Those of you who have no choice but to drive private hire to survive, I pray that you and your family will be fully protected from all kinds of diseases. Those of you who are public transportation operators, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a frontliner, for keeping the economy moving and for helping us to get to work every day. But for all commuters, drivers, operators, I pray that all of you will be safe for every single day of your life. And those of you who have a choice, I hope you'll consider whatever you have learned from this video before making a decision. Think for yourself and for your family.